The beginning, a boy from Wolverhampton. Before the fame, before the stages, before the spotlight, there was Liam James Payne, born August 29, 1993, in Wolverhampton, England. He grew up in a working-class family, the youngest of three siblings. His father, Jeff, worked at a factory, and his mother, Karen, was a nurse. From a young age, Liam battled health challenges. He was born 3 weeks premature and spent much of his childhood in and out of hospitals. But beneath that fragile start was a fighter, a boy who never let hardship define him. By age 12, he was already training as a runner, representing his school at national events. And even then, music was his escape. The X Factor, first taste of rejection. At just 14 years old, Liam auditioned for the X Factor UK in 2008, performing Fly Me to the Moon by Frank Sinatra. Simon Cowell liked his confidence, but thought he was too young. He was sent home. For most, that would have been the end of the story. But not for Liam. He spent 2 more years training his voice, studying music, and performing wherever he could. When he returned to the X Factor in 2010, he was more mature, more focused, and determined to make it count. This time, he impressed everyone, including Simon Cowell. But fate, once again, had other plans. The birth of One Direction. Just like Zayn Malik, Liam's solo journey took a twist. He was eliminated from the solo category, but was brought back to form a group with 4 other contestants: Harry Styles, Niall Horan, Louis Tomlinson, and Zayn Malik. That band would become One Direction, and the world would never be the same. They didn't win the X Factor, they came 3rd, but their charm, talent, and brotherhood captured hearts worldwide. Their debut single, What Makes You Beautiful, became an instant global hit. One Direction became more than a band, they were a cultural phenomenon. The engine of One Direction. Within the group, Liam quickly earned the nickname Daddy Direction. He was the responsible one, the organizer, the problem solver, the voice of reason. But he was more than just a leader. Liam's strong vocals carried some of the group's biggest hits, from Story of My Life to Night Changes. Behind the scenes, he was also a songwriter, co-writing tracks like Steal My Girl and Home. The band released 5 albums in 5 years, a relentless schedule of tours, studio sessions, and press. The pressure was enormous, but Liam rarely cracked in public. He became the glue that held the group together. The fame storm. The success was blinding. Millions of fans, sold-out arenas, chart-topping albums. One Direction was the biggest band in the world. But fame is a double-edged sword. Liam began struggling with mental exhaustion. He once admitted that during the height of their fame, we were living in a bubble. It was like being on a treadmill you couldn't get off. And while the cameras captured their smiles, behind the curtain, the pressure and scrutiny were taking a toll on everyone. The split. In 2015, Zayn Malik left the band, sending shockwaves through the fandom. Liam, trying to hold things together, became one of the main songwriters for their final album, Made in the AM. But after 5 years of non-stop work, the group finally announced a hiatus in early 2016. For fans, it felt like a breakup, and for Liam, it was both liberating and terrifying. When Liam began writing Risk Aversion Thing, for the first time in years, he was on his own. No tours, no schedule, no spotlight, just silence. Finding his own sound. Liam signed with Republic Records and began crafting his solo identity. His debut single, Strip That Down, featuring Quavo, dropped in 2017 and became a massive hit. It was bold, confident, and different, a declaration that Liam Payne had arrived as a solo artist. The song went multi-platinum and reached the top 10 in several countries. He followed with singles like Bedroom Floor, For You with Rita Ora, and Polaroid, exploring pop, R&B, and dance influences. His first album, LP1, released in 2019, showed versatility, but also the struggle of redefining himself after One Direction. Love, family, and fatherhood. Offstage, Liam's life was changing fast. He began dating Cheryl Cole, a former X Factor judge who had once critiqued his teenage performance. Their connection deepened, and in 2017, they welcomed their son, Bear Payne. Becoming a father changed everything for Liam. He often described Bear as his greatest reason to stay grounded. Though his relationship with Cheryl ended in 2018, they've maintained a strong bond as co-parents. Liam has frequently said that being a dad gave him perspective, reminding him of what truly matters beyond fame. the battles within. But success came with shadows. Liam began speaking openly about his mental health battles, including alcohol abuse and depression. In interviews, he admitted that the pressures of fame had once pushed him to dark places. There were moments where I didn't know if I'd make it out alive. Fans praised his honesty, a rare moment of vulnerability in a world that often demands perfection. He took time away from music to heal, focusing on therapy, fitness, and self-improvement. Slowly, he began rebuilding not just his career, but himself. The comeback. In 2023, Liam made a quiet but powerful return. He appeared healthier, more focused, and deeply reflective. He began releasing new music that reflected his growth, emotional, stripped back, and real. He also spoke openly about reconnecting with former bandmates, expressing support for Harry, Niall, Louis, and even Zayn. There was no bitterness, only gratitude. For fans, it was a reminder that despite the chaos, the bond between the five men who changed pop music forever still existed. The internet rumors and reality check. In 2024, false rumors circulated online about Liam's health and even death, misinformation that quickly spread before being debunked. Liam responded calmly, reminding the world that mental health struggles aren't entertainment. It was another testament to his strength, the ability to face darkness with grace. He used the moment to advocate for mental health awareness, using his platform to push for compassion over clickbait. The legacy of Liam Payne. Today, Liam Payne stands not just as a singer, but as a survivor, a symbol of resilience in the face of pressure, fame, and personal demons. From a sickly child in Wolverhampton to selling out stadiums, from rejection to reinvention, Liam's story isn't just about fame. It's about fighting back when life hits hardest. He may have started as the voice of One Direction, but he's grown into something bigger, a voice for healing, growth, and redemption. And while the next chapter of his journey remains unwritten, one thing is certain. Liam Payne has finally found peace in being himself. The price of fame. Even after all the fame and fortune, Liam often says fame took more than it gave. He's admitted in multiple interviews that at the height of One Direction's fame, he couldn't even step outside without being mobbed. He'd wear disguises, sneak through hotel kitchens, and sometimes go weeks without feeling normal. The fame that millions dream of became his biggest prison. He once confessed, "You're on the biggest stage in the world, but you feel like you're in the loneliest room." That realization made Liam question what true happiness meant. Was it the charts or peace of mind? Healing through music. Music became his therapy again. Instead of chasing hits, Liam started writing about healing, fear, and the struggle for inner balance. Songs like All I Want for Christmas and Midnight with Alesso reflected a man who was slowly rediscovering hope. He also began mentoring young artists, sharing lessons he'd learned the hard way. In private studios in London and Los Angeles, Liam spent nights experimenting with sounds, pouring pain into lyrics no one has heard yet. It wasn't about the fame anymore, it was about expression, brotherhood beyond the band. Though One Direction ended years ago, the bond hasn't. Liam remains in touch with Louis and Niall, occasionally supporting their solo tours and projects. There are moments when he and Louis meet